Coming up, we're going to talk about a ride so great that a terrible movie decided to reference it with a really stupid gymnastics move. That's a spoiler for you. From the Bob Varley Studio in Orlando, Florida, this is the Universal edition of the Diz Unplugged. This is episode 128 of the Diz Unplugged Universal Edition. The Diz Unplugged Universal Edition is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel, experts at helping you plan the perfect universal vacation. Visit them on the web at www.dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Hey, everyone out there. Welcome to this week's episode of the Diz Unplugged Universal Edition. I am your host with the most, Craig Williams, and today I am joined alongside by my co-host, Mr. Ryno Clavin.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you so much for joining me here today, Ryno. This is going to be a really fun episode. Lots of promise. Okay.
Is it? Okay.
Yes, it will. Unfortunately, if you're listening to this, you still might not have guessed what is this the show actually going to be about. But for the people who watched and saw the episode title, or if you're finding this on YouTube, clearly it's all over the place, including the thumbnail, you probably already have a good idea about what it is. But we will keep, We'll give you another spoiler for this. We're going to be talking about an attraction that Ryno is deathly afraid of.
But I have done it.
You have, and that's why we are warranted to do it. I wanted to actually do a fun episode about. I wanted to do a fun episode about Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket.
I will never.
You too much of a baby to do that. I will have to.
Big old baby.
I'll have to call in a brand new co-host in order for that episode to go down. But we can do this one. The attraction we are talking about, of course, is none other than the attraction that's near and dear to my heart because I spent a little bit over a year slaving away there. I don't want to say it that bad. It did not feel like a slave experience. It just was a lot, and it was very important. It's where I met my wife. So it has even more significance to it. That is the one and only Dragon Challenge at Islands of Adventure inside the Wizarding World of Harry Potter Hogsmeade. But before we talk about that, we have to give just a little bit of a shameless plug to Dreams Unlimited Travel. Of course, you heard them in the intro there. They are our number one go-to place for any travel bit. And why might you book with Dreams Unlimited Travel? What's upcoming that's exciting? Well, yeah, Volcano Bay, the new towers at Cabana Bay, that's all great. But something more important, we now have the opening date for Aventura Hotel. So
Ventura.
Yes, not the Ace Ventura Hotel. We'd all love that, considering.
Loved and dreamed of.
Well, yeah, I know Tooth Fairy 2 was filmed at Universal. I can't remember if Ace Ventura,
the third one,
the one
that
about
was the kid, too. Ace Ventura Jr. or something.
It's only a shoo-in that they would make the Ace Ventura Hotel. They're not doing that, but they did make the Aventura Hotel, and it will start welcoming guests on August 1st, 2018. That is, it's a year and a summer away from us. Of course, the Aventura Hotel is going to have 600 rooms and suites. All of that. We've talked about it on this show before. It's a big glass building that's going to have a rooftop bar that we will probably only be at 1% of the time. I'm lying. We will be there more often than not because it will have amazing views of the Universal Orlando property as well as a great view of the Krakatoa, the erupting volcano that's just right across the street at Volcano Bay. Right now, Universal is actually doing a deal if you book a stay at Volcano, or not at Volcano Bay, at Aventura Hotel. So there's two options. If you book a stay of 4 nights, you'll receive a $50 hotel dining credit. Or if you book a 7-night stay, you will get a $100 dining credit. Rates will start at $97 per night if you stay for 7 nights, and only $116 per night if you stay for 4 nights. which it's going to be beautiful. I know we will be there, but that's a little nice perk if you're starting to plan your vacation that far out. This might be an option to go to. I can imagine that it will be great. It will not have Express Pass with us because, as you could see by those prices, this is definitely bordering on that same value pricing that you get with Cabana Bay. Not a bad deal at all, especially if the longer you stay, the cheaper it gets. But they will have early park admission, transportation to the parks, all that stuff. So there's plenty of things to look forward to there. So if you are interested in any reason for booking a stay at Aventura Hotel for August 1st, 2018 or beyond, get in touch with a Dreams Unlimited travel agent, and they will be able to help you out with that. Other than that being said, there really is a whole lot of nothing happening at Universal.
Just waiting for that build up to the new attraction, new theme park, new water theme park. Good Lord.
Well, we'll get there eventually. I mean, we have that. We're hoping for some type of Halloween Horror Nights announcement to come out. Still nothing. Even after HHN kind of teased on Twitter that there would be an announcement coming soon, nothing has still happened. We're recording this ahead of time, as we always do. I leave for vacation on Wednesday, and I will be on a cruise, so I will have a little bit of Wi-Fi, but I am cutting myself off from the world for a couple days.
Good for you.
So clearly that will be when they announce the next house for Halloween Horror Nights, and I'll completely miss it. But I guess we'll have a lot of stuff to talk about then when I get back, as well as next week. We are going to have a massive show because I'm pretty sure we're going to come from the grand opening of Volcano Bay. Well, we won't be able to pre-record a show that week. We'll essentially have to come over. We might do another live show next week. So
on Thursday?
Yeah, we might have to.
You're pushing it because there are two different things happening on Thursday that we will be in opposite parts of the town. Don't give people false hope.
But all in the morning. It's all in the morning. So
I think you're underestimating Orlando traffic.
I might be. Well, we haven't said it. We haven't said anything
if they're
official.
giving us the opportunity to hang out in that theme park on Thursday, my car will suddenly broken down.
I'm not sure if they are. We will get our first look next week on Wednesday at Volcano Bay. So there will be a media day where we get to be in the park for a lot of the afternoon and get to experience the attractions that are there, the slides, the dining, the drinks, just everything it has to offer. Talk to Universal executives about it all too, and then they're promising a big soiree in the evening that Ryno will probably be going to. I'll probably be bowing out of that because, nighttime with skin so pale as mine, you'll be able to see me from like a mile away.
You'll be like Edward the vampire.
Exactly.
Glittering
so
in the sun.
I do not take my shirt off at night. I can't take that. I can't take that chance. So Ryno will probably end up being there alone for that. So if it all works out that we can have a live show next week talking about everything that Volcano Bay has to offer, I feel like we have to take advantage of it in some way. So no promises yet, but we will do our best to definitely bring you up-to-date coverage on that. Regardless, please make sure you're following along with us next week. It's going to be exciting. On the Universal side of things, we're covering Volcano Bay. On the Disney side of things, we'll also be covering Pandora: The World of Avatar. So we just have so much going on in this short little period of time. It's going to be very exciting. It is a very exciting time for theme park fans.
Mm-hmm. I know it is a crowded 2 weeks for our lives.
It is, and good thing I'm going on vacation before it, so that way I'm calm when I get back and the fury ignites. But all that being said, why are we here today? Well, we are here to nominate the next attraction into the Disney Universal Hall of Fame, and that is, of course, Dragon Challenge / Dueling Dragons. The very, very much loved and very potentially leaving us attraction inside the wizarding world of Harry Potter. So I feel like this is a good opportunity to actually discuss this ride, because right now, a lot of the rumors that are swirling around are pointing that this attraction will only make it with us until about September this year before it will finally see its closure, which it's very, very soon. Very, very soon. So I will miss it when it goes. But yeah, so this is a...
Did you want me to sing a song or something there?
I
couldn't think of a sad... Jeez, I am sorry. I am so sorry.
I don't think we have a filter for sneezes.
It came out of nowhere.
That did come out of nowhere.
It got me sad thinking about closings.
Yeah, I'm thinking of what's that one
Closing
Spice Girl
time.
song?
Oh, Spice Girls, okay. Time for you to go.
Yeah, well, I like Closing Time. That took a really long time to get that, but it's fine. It's fine. So let's go through.
You're just going to stay over here.
Oh, my bad. Sorry. I thought it just followed my voice, as I am the most important person. But apparently it does not do that. So let's talk about the Dragon Challenge. Of course, this opened up way back in the day with Universal's Islands of Adventure Park. But back then, before this was the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, we'll take you back to a time when this was the Lost Continent, and this attraction was Dueling Dragons. So
it was a pretty impressive queue entrance here with the two dragons like growling at each other.
Yeah, just completely changed when it went over into the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. I'm actually I'm upset. I never got to see.
I don't think I saw this either.
No, I never did. My first trip to Universal, I've said it before on the show many times, it was when I finally got my ID and started to work there at the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. So it was well into Dragon Challenge by the time I got there. But I feel like Dueling Dragons was one of those attractions that people just knew about. Even if they never had been to Universal, it was just it was one of those things that was just it was iconic, with the two inverted roller coasters that duel, and they go at the exact same time, and they have 3 points during it where it looks like they're almost going to come in contact with each other. So just a really cool attraction. So it's right up there with other Universal ones. Like for Disney fans out there, at least, like I always knew about Spider-Man as soon as that opened up. It was just one of those things that you always heard about. You always heard about dragons. You always heard about Spider-Man. They were just the big rides of Universal. And we could even go back even further if we wanted to with Dueling Dragons and discuss its origins that actually started with Disney.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting story too.
It is. When they were designing Animal Kingdom, we all know of the section of the park that was going to be dedicated to mythical creatures. That's why in the original look for Animal Kingdom in the logos and stuff, they had a dragon in the
well, there's still the head at the entrance too, isn't there?
Yeah. That too, but in the mythical creatures have been they were kind of placed throughout, even though it never got to it. So like there's still one lot that makes no sense in the grand sense.
The unicorn?
Yes, yeah, exactly. The unicorn lot. And one of the attractions was supposed to be a dragon attraction. And it wasn't. It was definitely going to be a much more heavy themed Disney style ride, not a giant roller coaster out in the middle of a barren wasteland like it is at Universal. But there was a lot more intricacies to it, and just a ton more theming involved into it. But that never came to be. There was the dragon statue that was always kind of buried away in the bushes outside of Camp Mini Mickey, which is now Pandora, and you can still see that dragon head poking through the trees and stuff out there, especially if you're sitting at Nomad Lounge. You have a nice view right across from it. Yeah, you can still see it.
Wait a minute. So, but the rock formation that's on the ground, was that always there too?
Which rock formation are you talking about?
To the right of the bridge of Pandora, there's like rocks that look like an animal. That's not what you're talking about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. That is cool. It is cool.
No, it's just that it's always been covered by trees and stuff, and that was one of the signifiers that was supposed to be that land, which ended up being Camp Mini Mickey, and just stayed that way. Rest in peace. Hey, if it wasn't for Camp Mini Mickey, we might not have Pandora, the world of Avatar, which some of you diehard Universal fans out there might just laugh at saying that, but it's pretty. It's very pretty. It's on the level of Universal's theming with Wizarding World.
So it all worked out toward the end.
It did. So a bunch of people leave Disney Imagineering and come over, become part of Universal Creative. They have this Lost Continent section, and while not the exact same ride, it's not like Dueling Dragons was ever going to be in Disney. That dragon concept somehow made their way into the Lost Continent, and we have Dueling Dragons. And it's one of those things. I just wish I could have been around Universal to ride this in its original
in the heyday
iteration. So because one of the there's lots of different aspects of it. The ride track has not changed. It is the exact same ride track as it is now for Dragon Challenge, but obviously now with Dragon Challenge it no longer duels. That was
the injuries that happened, right?
Yeah, so Dragon Challenge has always had just a kind of issue with little small problems happening with it, whether it's someone out in the ride track when they shouldn't be.
Wait a minute, what?
Yeah, you can look up the list of ride reports and injuries and other stuff on it.
Somebody could just wander down there somehow?
No, if you're a tech and you're in the wrong place at the wrong time,
oh gosh,
there's things that could happen, but it stretches beyond that. It even goes to guests with prosthetic limbs that don't notify team members that they have a prosthetic limb, and
a history of issues with this at Universal apparently.
Said limb flies off in the attraction, and there's water all below the attraction, so you lose a leg in the water. It's not like you can just go get in it.
Good gosh, did they recover it?
I heard they found, I think, one when they drained it to start working on the Hogwarts Express.
Oh my gosh.
But maybe two of them, but and then there was an incident that really kind of set off the whole loose articles policies with Universal, and it's just increased and gotten more strict as the years have gone on to the point now that we have metal detectors and all of that. But there was an unfortunate incident that someone did have a little bit of a problem in the facial area. I'm not going to get into graphics here, but lots of these decisions were all made that they would take away the dueling factor of it. But it survived from Dueling Dragons into Dragon Challenge and still dueled for a while. Are you looking it up right now?
Well, you talked about the guy with the eye, was what you just said, right? I saw the guy who got hit with the car. Well, I didn't see any of it. I'm not looking it up. I am hopeful that guy was okay, but I don't think so. I'm assuming you're not going to be okay when a 60-mile-an-hour cart hits you. The tourist who got hit in the eye only had one good eye when they went on the attraction, and the injury caused them to go blind. But that is not. That's a human fault. Yeah. That's not like That's a non-universal. That's when terrible people do stupid stuff.
Yeah, no, that is, and I was working at Forbidden Journey the day that happened, and I remember all the ruckus, and we used to have cameras in our control booth that looked into the rest of the Wizarding World, and so we actually did have a camera that could look onto the loading platforms of Dragon Challenge. So there was questions about what was happening, but it was very tight-lit back then.
I see also that the 2 injuries happened within like 2 weeks of each other too, which is not great.
Yeah, it's sometimes just bad things happen, and
it's unfortunate.
Yeah, and so that was kind of the bummer that by the time I started working at Dragon Challenge, it was no longer dueling. But I did get to ride it when it was dueling. You never did though, because the first time you rode it was with me, right?
Yeah, it was the first and only time I've ridden it. Yes, it was the end of 2015, I think. Yeah, it would have been. It was my first year here, and it was my.
It was your resolution.
Yeah, my resolution. Maybe we'll get time to talk about those at the end of the show today.
I don't know about that.
But yeah, yeah, it was horrifying.
Yeah, no, and
my first dangly roller coaster too. The feet dangle.
And technically, you only rode one side. I didn't make you ride both sides.
Well, technically my eyes were closed 95% of the ride too, and I was crying.
But that really just escalated because it started off from me saying that I wanted to see it back in the day, but I just used to hear all the great things about this queue from the people who that worked there when it was Dueling Dragons and went into Dragon Challenge. It wasn't that long of a time period, so a lot of people still had a lot of experience working there, loved it. There was a couple that still knew all the quotes and rhymes as they're dispatching a train and sending them out. Like, now you might hear it with Harry Potter there as the train's leaving. Your control booth operator might say something like "Fly bravely" or another fun themed phrase like that. But back in the day, they had these intricate rhymes that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I could never learn them. I didn't have to memorize them, but it was all a part of that Dueling Dragons. The queue still was that castle fortress, but inside the queue, in one of the rooms, that now there's just a trash can sitting in the middle of the room. There used to be a Merlin character.
Oh, that's cool.
A Merlin face character that would be in there and warning people and rhyming and there also used to be skulls that just lined the entire queueway, which inside these holes. So you can still see all these holes and these weird openings that don't look like they're supposed to be there in the queue for Dueling Dragons, but that's because there used to be evil, ominous things inside of them. So a dark ride, and then, of course, you had the two sides. You had fire and ice. Mm-hmm. So those were your two choices, and then the Wizarding World of Harry Potter comes in and changes that all up and turns it into Dragon Challenge. And basically, Dragon Challenge, of course, is kind of the point in the fourth book where, or the fourth movie, if we want to say that, where the Triwizard Challenge is happening, and so. There's lots of little references and nods to the movies in this, and that like right out front of the entrance, you can still see it because it's still there. They have all 4 golden eggs that they have in Harry Potter that they're trying to get from the dragon, and the first golden egg is right above Dragon Challenge in the title marquee.
I knew they had all of them. Yeah, I knew that one.
They are. You will see all 4
that's cool
eggs, because there's that one there, and then they have the other 3 in one of the rooms further on, where Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey is so intricately themed and so much attention to detail was put in. Dragon Challenge just didn't get the same sort of love when they rethemed it from Dueling Dragons. So they put all these banners and stuff for Hufflepuff and Gryffindor and the Durmstrangs and the Beauxbatons or Beauxbatons, depending on which pronunciation you use. They kind of swapped that all out. They put in the Flying Ford Anglia that revs its motors and still lights are flashing and honking.
And I love it because when you're riding the Hogwarts Express over, that car it lands on the train in that same area it would be for the attraction.
Exactly. So they keep it in place, and then you walk inside the queue, and the first thing you see inside the champion's tent is the goblet of fire, and you hear the lines from the movie, including Potter, from Dumbledore absolutely having a meltdown that Harry Potter's name.
I hate that part. That was my least favorite part in all the movies.
Yeah, because
did you put your name in the goblet of fire?
Because it doesn't really fit what
You're just like,
described in the book.
Dumbledore, calm yourself down.
And
the only time I've ever seen you get riled up.
Yeah, no, and Kylie and I go back and forth. Our favorite line from it is like, "It's not even 17 yet." It's just a throwaway line. But
is it one of those echoes in the background?
Essentially, yeah. And we'll just say that randomly when there's this awkward silence between us. It's not even 17 yet. But then you keep walking through and you see the Triwizard Cup just glowing and all afloat. I'm sorry I don't have more pictures. I will just flat out be honest. I never took pictures in here before they stopped allowing loose articles up through the attraction. So I have no pictures.
Can you tell them you're going to come up and take pictures though? And you think they'll let you?
The one time I did, it was like, you can go right here where we can see you. And that's the furthest they let me. So I don't know if that's luck of the draw. If I'd go with someone that I know that still works there, maybe they'd let me through. But I haven't tried to do this since they got really strict about it with the metal detectors. So, which is understandable. I see why. They will, if you have a wheelchair and you come up the exit, they will wand. If you can get up, they'll make you get up and stand up and wand you down, and then also check to make sure that the wheelchair has nothing in it. That's how serious they are about it. And then for the rest of the queue, essentially, it's very bare. It's just a lot of those past memories left behind from Dueling Dragons. So there's a couple little cool things you can find. Some without a flashlight. Without a flashlight, you can't see. Like there is a hidden noose that's up in the rafters at one area that I'll have to show you sometime.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's impossible now because you can't have your phone to look up there and see it.
Oh, to shine the light?
Yeah, but it's there, so that's fun. And it's the next real big themed involvement of this attraction is when you get to choose your fate between the Hungarian Horntail and the Chinese Fireball. So, because they renamed them, and fun little movie screen up above where you board the attraction as the dragons roaring and crazy, and then you ultimately have to choose your side, and whether you want to ride the Chinese Fireball or the Hungarian Horntail. So we are going to show you the ride through of both of them back to back so you can see, and that is going to happen first with the Chinese Fireball and then with the Hungarian Horntail right now. And these videos will also be in the show notes if you want to watch them, because you're just listening to this right now and not watching. So here they are. the first big difference between these two attractions is that one side is faster than the other. In terms of height, they're both the exact same height. I believe that, from my memory, that is 125 feet at the top of their lift hill. Could be wrong on that. Every time I had to climb to the top, I was, unless I was evacing.
125 feet. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, unless I was evacing. Like, if it was just for fun walks to check for loose articles and stuff, I would be, like, grasping on. But then as soon as the adrenaline took over for an evac, I'd just start, like, you just start sprinting up, and you don't even care. Like, yeah, I'm in the zone. Got to get these people off the ride.
I'd be like, I'm good. These people can get themselves off. Bye.
It was actually a lot of fun. I only had to do one all the way at the top evac,
gosh.
and it was my fault. I was the CBO, and I knew that the ride was going to go down and then fall at the top of the hill. I could have hit a ride stop all the way at the bottom and stopped it down there, but you just like freaked. You're like, oh well, maybe everything will be okay, and then it gets to the top and stops. Like, nope, that's an evac.
Oh god.
Okay, I'm the reason, so I'm gonna also climb these stairs since I just made everyone else do it. There's so many fun memories. The supports up there shake so much and rattle that I don't know if you know this, but bees are attracted to vibration and shaking and rattling.
No.
So in the summer, we would have awful issues with bees.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Bees.
Actual bees. No joking this time. So, like, when that song Bees in the Trap came out, you know, everyone was singing a Dragon Challenge that little period, Bees on the Track.
Wait, so would the track go through and, like, the bees would attack people?
The bees would be at the top of the lift. So as you got up, it was moving slow enough that bees could come at you.
You'd be like, oh god, oh god,
Yeah,
oh my god, this is like my worst nightmare.
We would have to shut their eye down for bees being a problem. So,
jeez.
yeah, they would have to go up to the top and spray it and try to get it done.
Oh my gosh.
It's the secrets. These are the secrets I'm probably not allowed to give away, and I will never have a job at Universal ever again because of it. But they're just too good. You know, there's guests out there who went through it, who were stung by those bees, so it's not really that much of a surprise. But yeah, so lifts, both sides are the exact same height. Each side both goes through 5 different inversions, but this is where it's a little bit different in that I feel like a lot of the inversions on the Chinese Fireball are very, very kind of harsh.
Well, that's because it says here that the Chinese Fireball drop is 115 feet, whereas the drop on the Hungarian Horntail is only 95 feet.
Yeah.
So I bet that has a lot to do with that.
Well,
however, the roller coasters are the same track length and everything.
Yeah, and part of that too is when the first loop on the Chinese Fireball, it immediately starts with a loop. As soon as you go down the hill, it comes up and loops over. You did the Hungarian Horntail, which is my preferred side. So the Hungarian Horntail, like, I love after you come down that first drop, it does a nice big sweeping turn, comes around, and then it kind of comes back around that turn, goes up, and then does just a quick inversion all the way at the peak of that hill. I feel like the difference between the two, the Chinese Fireball to me feels like I'm riding a roller coaster. The Hungarian Horntail almost to me feels like if you were like riding a Top Gun ride, not the terrible Top Gun ride that used to be at Paramount Parks in Kings Island and Kings Dominion, but like if you were in like a fighter plane, it has that same type of feel to it as you're going through. Yeah, with the banking and the quick turns, stuff like that. So almost hitting the wall, which that's a part of the ride too. You feel like you're gonna hit the wall, but instead you do 2 inversions to get around that. But you know, these 2 roller coasters, while the Fireball is more intense than the Horntail, neither are as intense as the Incredible Hulk.
No,
which you've ridden that, so
done.
You can.
That literally felt like my brain was being scrambled when I was done for quite some time.
But they still there's just something about them. I love the Horntail side. Fireball, I used to love. That was the first side I rode on. Me and Fireball just have a bad memory together. And
that's why I didn't go on that one either. It's because you're a bad memory.
The bad memory that sometimes you say, thank goodness you weren't sitting one more seat over. And but yeah, just for that reason, I will still go on it. And if it comes to fruition that ride does come to an end, I will go on it in its memory for one last time. But I love the Horntail side. And while the attraction as a general lacks a lot of Potter theming, I think it is a historical piece of an attraction for Islands of Adventure. Just as important as Spider-Man or the Incredible Hulk. I feel like Dueling Dragons and Dragon Challenge are just as important in the history. And for that, to me, I think that makes it Hall of Fame worthy. And I think a lot of people will be extremely sad when this does officially close. Granted, because it doesn't duel anymore, it doesn't have that same feeling and that same exciting energy about it, but it is still two really great roller coasters.
So if it closes, is the rumor that it'll be a Harry Potter related thing that goes there?
There's been multiple, but yeah, pretty much right now it's expand more on Potter and potentially get 2 attractions in that space. But at one point in time, there was even toying around with the notion of putting in a mega coaster in this area, but that's off the shelves now. From everything
I was going to say, whatever goes there has to be something that it can't just be a Jimmy Fallon. It's got to be something that really brings something to the park, and essentially, it's got to, for me, that's got to be Harry Potter.
I would even love to see a Forbidden Forest dark ride. Go simple. Take something out of Disney's note and do a nice, easy dark ride through the Forbidden Forest, scenes as you go around there. It doesn't need to be intense. It can be family friendly.
You can have Voldemort feasting on a unicorn at some point.
I think that would actually fit in perfectly right there. I would I would love to have some sort of boat attraction, even though now you have the Hogwarts Express.
Yeah, but they ride the boats up to the school too.
Yeah,
for year one.
Yeah, and that's the main issue. It's how do you get
body of water,
the body of water there and then it's not in the right place. Like they have the body of water right down below.
Yeah.
Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, which from what I was told in my time there, that originally the idea was to try to have people actually enter down from there and have like lockers down by a water, so you felt like that was the start, but just a logistical nightmare that was never going to happen, but just kind of like a blue sky pitch from it. But there's lots of stuff I would love to see in this area, but it does take up a massive amount of space, so I understand that it will go one day, because they would have to do a full track replacement on it the same way they had to do with the Hulk.
Well, the thing is, too, is down here, I think when Islands kind of first came around, it got the reputation of like, oh, this is a thrill park, and I think the name of the game right now in theme parks is not necessarily thrill rides, but it's innovation related to thrill rides. So it is more like, where's Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Another Spider-Man, or I don't want to say another screen-based thing, but something that involves a higher level of theming to it. But I do think that what goes there should be thrilling. It shouldn't be just something easy.
I'll be honest. There's one other aspect that they look at now, which I know it's something that they are trying to do. But think about Islands of Adventure in terms of what the rides are. You have Toon Lagoon, which is all outside attractions. Over in Marvel, you have Spider-Man, which is inside, but you have the Incredible Hulk, which is out, and technically Storm Force Excelatron is covered, as well as Carousel and Cat in the Hat. But then you have the High in the Sky Seuss Trolley Train Ride. That's all outside. Well, there are portions of it outside, portions inside, but it's outside. Dragon Challenge, all outside. Flight of the Hippogriff, all outside. So when it rains and there's inclement weather and it starts to lightning and they have to shut down attractions, half the park closes, and you just have Forbidden Journey, you have Poseidon, you have Cat in the Hat, Storm Force, Spider-Man, and then now Kong too. But you lose River Adventure. You lose a lot. So if they can get rid of Dragon Challenge and add in 2 attractions that have no outside part of it, because let's be real, in the summer, it's Florida.
Yeah.
Thunderstorms roll in every day. And I cannot tell you how many shifts I showed up for at 2 o'clock, and I sat around for the first 4 hours of the shift because it was down due to severe weather.
Yeah.
So I think they could do it at you, but clearly because of my emotional attachment, I think it should be in the Hall of Fame for its history. What about you?
I get the reasoning. I do think it is an integral part of the history of the park. It doesn't really have so much. Well, I don't want to say it doesn't have innovation, because there weren't many things like it. I mean, when they dueled and they went at each other, and it was a dueling dragon, that is an interesting aspect of this attraction and the history. And I'm gonna put it in there, but solely because Bring It On in it to win it.
And that was, if you said no, that was going to be the ultimate selling point in the end. You heard me say it in the tease. About a movie that was a gymnastics move was inspired by this attraction. Yeah. Well, Ryno, can you explain Bring It On?
No, I don't think I want to.
No, you don't want to?
It was a made for a direct to DVD, like the third Bring It, or I guess every Bring It On after the first one was like this, but this is the 4th Bring It On in the franchise. And essentially, it's the West Coast Sharks cheerleading squad are competing against the East Coast Jets. You see what they did there? The Sharks and the Jets.
I do. It's so clever.
Their uniform colors are also blue and red. Interesting that's also the color of the roller coaster. But it is the whole West Side Story thing. One falls for the one on the other side, and however, I watched this movie. I remember it was on ABC Family, and they blurred out anywhere it said Universal. It was literally just a blur mark on the screen where I was like, what is going on? But I don't know. I don't remember how it ties into the attraction.
Oh, because they do ride the attraction.
I remember them riding it.
They ride the attraction in this. It's there's a little bit of time actually spent in the whole Lost Continent area, but they do ride Dueling Dragons, and essentially they need to overcome and they need to win the cheer competition. And so the way they do this is by doing a move that eventually gets known as the double dragon, and that's where they kind of
not to be
twist
confused
them.
with the NES video game Double Dragon.
And I'm sorry, I was looking for a legal way to find a clip of this move to throw in here, but without paying for it, I can't do that.
Oddly enough, it's a hard to find thing.
Yeah, it should be a lot easier to find a clip of this, but essentially they come up with a move where they twist little tiny cheerleaders around in circles where they nearly miss each other, like the iconic, if you're looking at Dragon Challenge from the outside, you see the 2 loops where
the legs almost.
It's just two inversions that look like their legs are all going to kick each other, and that's a move that they kind of recreate as a double dragon, therefore solidifying Dueling Dragons and Dragon Challenge into movie history forever with this really dumb cheerleader movie, which I've only seen it once when I moved back to Florida after my college program was over. I didn't realize that was my first time ever staying on my own. I didn't realize stuff like, oh, you can't just like walk into an apartment or a townhouse and the power's on and cables there and you have all of your utilities. I didn't know that you had to call these companies up and have them set it up, and sometimes it was days. So I moved down in January, like the 3rd of January, and the temperature outside in Florida, like the high every day was like 55 and the low was right in the 30s. It was one of the weird, bizarre cold fronts that just moved through Florida that was terrible. So I had to drive down to past Tampa to where my aunt has a house, and I'm staying there and sitting in the bedroom and flipping on TV. I'm like, oh, I think that's Universal on there. And then I got lost in this wormhole of Bring It On, In It to Win It. Like, I can't tell if it's Universal because they of course, they're blurring
anything
out.
that makes you think it is.
But that's the first time I experienced that. And who knew I was going to be destined to end my Universal career working at Dragon Challenge after seeing it and bring it on in it to win it.
Yeah.
But yes, I absolutely think it's worthy of it. Of course, though, it doesn't matter what we think. It only matters what you think, because you guys are going to be the ones who are voting on it. So if you want to vote on that, you can do so at disboards.com. I'm going to be on a cruise, so I'm either going to put it up really late or I'm going to put it up very early. So it'll be another spoiler on top of all the other spoilers I've already given away for this episode. But if you want to find where you can vote on this attraction to see whether or not it's in the Disney Universal Hall of Fame, please go to disunplug.com, home of our show notes page, where you can find all those links, and for this show, that show, the other shows, all the shows that we do, the Craig and Ryno duo shows. There's only 18 at this point now, but yeah, they are a good thing. So thank you guys so much out there for watching or listening to this. We really do appreciate it. Ryno, thank you for joining me along on this ride.
Well, thank you for having me on this Dragon Challenge of an episode. That doesn't even sound even clever.
It was terrible.
A little bit
I
clever.
hated it, but of course, we also have to say before we leave here, make sure that you are you're subscribed to us on iTunes as well as YouTube, leaving comments down below with us, as well as hitting like if you actually do like this, and
share it with a friend.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, sharing is caring.
The best way is if you like what we're doing, or even if you don't like it, but you think you might know someone else who does, go ahead and share it. So the worst thing they're going to do is not be your friend anymore, or families. Works many different ways, but yeah, go ahead and do all of that. And thank you guys again so much. We couldn't do this without you. And I really wanted to do resolutions today, but we're running way out of time. So that's going to do it for this episode of the Diz Unplugged Universal Edition. We'll be back with you next week, but remember, no resolutions this week. See y'all.